Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Well, we have two 80 proof, that's 40% alcohol, blended Scotch whiskeys. This one is $48.99, $8.99 at Total Wine and More, and it'd be around the same price at Walmart and other stores. This big glass handle bottle is so pretty. Look how nice it's one of the best looking whiskey bottles I've ever seen, and I've seen many. This is produced under a royal warrant for Queen Elizabeth II, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. This is called the Ancestor, true Scotch, as opposed to fake Scotch. All right, the nickname of this is the Ancestor, but it's the 12-year age. Pretty sure it used to be 90 proof and aged, 90 proof back in the 1940s, 30s and 40s and 50s. And the Dewar's white label was 6-year age and 86.6 proof. But now it's no age statement and 80 proof, and the 12 is 12 years, of course, but only 80 proof. So like my friend David's always complaining about, they always water these things down. Why do you got to water them down? I told him, I don't know. I guess maybe they've determined that people like weaker. 80 proof is their preference. Or maybe it's cheaper to bring it to the minimum. It has to be at least 80 proof to be sold in the United States as whiskey. That's the minimum for whiskey in the USA, 80 proof. But not in other countries, though. It's low. It's in some countries they sell these things as 70 proof. That's an insult. Kyle, good morning. Good morning to you. I went to Mexico once, and I thought I was getting a deal on Presidente brandy. And I bought a 70 proof. I learned that when I got home. I said, 70 proof, what? And it was no savings, because by the time I got across the border and paid the Texas taxes at this Texas check-in center, I should have just done like other people and just snuck across the border and could have avoided all that. He said, but that's the law. You're supposed to check in. You're supposed to check in and follow the proper procedures. Well, I think we're being taught today that you don't really need to do that. Okay, so and I think that was back during 2009 to 2017 period. Yeah, the president would have been proud of me for I think, and especially the vice president, for sneaking in. And I could have avoided the taxes. But anyway, if I get Presidente here in America, it's 80 proof. Now, here's the competitor. 100 Pipers, blended Scotch whiskey. And there's 4 Pipers on there. No. 7, 8. They show, no. I was looking at the, okay, it's 4 Pipers. They don't show the other 96 because it'd be too crowded. Would be oh so crowded. Now, if you look at this bottle, and if you look at the 100 Pipers bottle on the Chivas Brothers website, whose link I posted below, you're going to notice a difference. Let me go to Chivas Brothers. So we'll look at Gaspar Gomez, Chivas Brothers, and Echevarria. All right. Seagram's. See, if you look at the Chivas Brothers website, it says Seagram's 100 Pipers. Deluxe blended Scotch whiskey, bottled in Scotland, distilled, aged, and blended. And it has a fancier bottle with a British and Scottish flag on it and everything. And it's like, why is it different? And then they talk about a 12-year-old. Well, okay, let me explain this to you all. And they talk about the story of Bonnie Prince Charlie, the Stuart King, who's trying to retake power in 1745, but he lost to the House of Hanover. But anyway, it says created in 1965, so 56 years ago, by Chivas Brothers master blender Alan Bailey. It is a sweet, complex, and rounded blend with a fruity nose and delicate honey flavor. It is made using some of the best malts in the Speyside region. Remember that, Speyside. That have been matured in carefully selected superior quality casks, which we call barrels. And they show 5 pipers on their bottle. Now you say, well, what is the deal? Why is it sold as Seagram's 100 pipers outside of the United States? And how did you just say it was a Chivas Brothers brand and it said Seagram's on it? Okay, all right. In 1965, Chivas Brothers did introduce 100 pipers, and it was sold as Seagram's 100 pipers, which is still sold that way today. It's like the second or third biggest selling Scotch in India, of course, and you know number 1 is Johnny Walker Red. Well, until the year 2000, you know, when everybody started having flying cars, Chivas Brothers was a subsidiary of Seagram's. It had been bought out by Seagram's many years ago. But Seagram's went out of business in the year 2000. And Chivas Brothers, that part of Seagram's went under the ownership of Pernod Ricard, a French company, à la Francais. Chivas Brothers is headquartered in Scotland. And France and Scotland had been allies for a long time. So that makes sense. Why were they allies? Because France's main enemy was England, and Scotland's main enemy was England. And so they had a common interest. They didn't like England. And when the Scottish kings of England were overthrown in 1688, the French allowed the Stuart kings, meaning James II and Charles III and all their descendants, to flee to France, where they sponsored them. And when James II launched a counter invasion, a counter attack in 1689, which a lot of people say was a terrible mistake, by landing in Northern Ireland of all places, where it was all Protestant and loyal to the William and Mary faction. They were Stuarts also, but they were the Protestant faction, you see. I mean, he should have landed in the Catholic part of Ireland, or landed in Scotland. He would have had a much better chance. But whatever, that's the French Navy of Louis XIV supported the Scottish kings of Great Britain. That said, they were the true dynasty, you know, the true rulers of England, Catholic rulers. James II being a Catholic ruler. They wanted to restore Catholicism. But anyway, that's history. But it's funny how history kind of comes back, because a Scottish company comes under the control of a French company, and Scotland and France had long time been allies against England. But here, this problem, you say, well, what does Kentucky have to do with it? Wasn't Kentucky ruled by France until the French and Indian War? Yes. Ruled by France on paper. You know, France had a bunch of paper colonies. They said, we rule it. But I mean, they had no real control over it, but it looked good on a map. Okay. This is bottled in Kentucky by Heaven Hill for the U.S. market. So Heaven Hill has a hand in the importation of this for the United States market. Imported and bottled by Piper's Import Company, Bardstown, Kentucky. There ain't no kind of real company called Piper's Import Company. It's Heaven Hill, but they use alias names, what the U.S. government calls assumed names for that. Sazerac does the same thing. Okay, so that's the story. It's made in Scotland by Chivas Brothers, but they have an agreement with Heaven Hill to bottle it and sell it in the United States. Well, you know, bottle it, yeah, and sell it. Sell it to the middleman, meaning the distributor. Because we have a very monopolistic system in the land of the free. You know how they say that on TV, the land of the free? Yeah, it sounds good. Now we want to make it true one day, you know. I am glad to be an American where at least I know I could be free. See, we want to put the true lyrics on the song where at least I know I could be free. People say, you are free. You're free to do what you're told, damn it. Now go get it. It's been approved to be safe. Even though NPR ran a story a few years ago talking about how 1/3 of all the drugs that were approved to be safe later on were recalled due to danger. But you know why? People say you are such a conspiracy theorist. Everybody knows NPR is a right-wing conspiracy theory website and radio channel. Oh, I'm sorry. What was I thinking? And I was reading, I was looking at 60 Minutes from 1979 about how the government was telling everybody to get this injection for swine flu back in 1976. It's safe and it's effective. And then all these people were crippled, you know. This lady was like, I was perfectly healthy. And my husband kept badgering me to get this safe and effective thing. And so then she was like, I was crippled for a year and now I'm still like disabled. The guy up my street had that happen to him. You say, but 60 Minutes, everybody knows that's a right-wing conspiracy show. Oh, yeah, I forgot. So I get so confused, you know, with things. Okay. It's just the way I am, a confused person. People say you need to stop listening to NPR in 60 Minutes, and then maybe you'll do what's right. You know, you need to do what. I agree. I put that on Facebook last week. I said, it's time for all. I put that on Facebook. I said, it's time for you to do your part to help Big Pharma. You know, I should have had a man with Uncle Sam pointing. It's time for you to do your part to help Big Pharma. And I think we all agree with that. That's what America is about. You know, when you ask, if somebody in Thailand or Taiwan or the Northern Mariana Islands ask you, what is America really about? You have to tell them, you know, America's, and you get emotional and you try not to cry. Say, man, America is about helping big corporations get in collusion with the government, you know. And I would die for that. The appearance, well, it's essentially identical, except that I think the Dewar's is a little tiny bit darker. Amber. They're both amber. Waves of green. Oh, no. This means something. I knew something happened the other night. I had this flash. And everything went crazy. I thought it was an earthquake. My hands felt just like balloons. And then it hit me in the forehead like a diamond bullet. Like a diamond bullet in the forehead. And I realized that there was this rocky thing, a monument, some sort of rock, tall rock tower. You say the big top candy mountain? No. And I was eating mashed potatoes, and I took a fork and I carved it out. I didn't know why. And then I built a big one in the living room out of clay and everything. I don't know why. And I think I want to go to Wyoming for no reason that I can think of, but I just feel driven to go to Wyoming. Okay. But it's a game. All right. And the madcap laughs. People say that's what you should call your channel, the madcap laughs. That smells so standard. A little honey, maybe. Bready, grain, sweet. It's just like what I'm saying. Honey, honey bread, something like that. You say, what about the smoke and the peatiness? I've heard that Scotch is very smoky and peaty. That's why I've been so afraid to try it. Well, this is neither smoky nor peatiness. I mean, neither smoky nor peaty. Whoops, accidentally tasted some. Didn't mean to do that. I tilted the glass too much. Yeah, it's the same aroma. It's neither smoky nor peaty. It's just like the honey-topped white bread crust. So in appearance, ain't too much difference. Is it a $32 difference? Are you crazy? $32 difference ain't even a $2 difference. Okay, what about aroma? No real appreciable difference. So I guess I would rather pay $16.99 for the big bottle of 100 pipers or 100 pipers, however that's supposed to be pronounced, versus $48.99 for Dewar's 12-year. Wouldn't you rather save $32, especially if you're not detecting any difference? I know I would. But yet, this is a taste challenge, and we need to get to the taste challenge. So here we go with the part of the video called the taste challenge. Well, it's got some grain alcohol bite to it. You know how a lot of American blended whiskeys will get you that sharp bite? They're bitey. They're like a dog biting you. They're like, not a big dog, but a little dog, you know, a lap dog. And it's not pleasant. There's a little peatiness here and even a little smoke, but it's so small. If this was a smoke scale, it would be 98% not smoky and peaty and only 2% smoky and peaty, but it is detectable. Does this taste really good? I wouldn't necessarily say that. But it doesn't taste bad. And I noticed it's starting to become even more smoky. So now we're up to 96 to 4. 96% not smoky to 4% smoky. That's a shock. Is it possible that 100 pipers could have up to 4% Isla whiskey in it? Because Total Wine's claiming it's 25 to 30%. No, it contains 25 to 30 different whiskeys in it. But then they also say it's 50% alcohol. That's wrong. It's 40%. So I don't know. I don't know if Total Wine posted the wrong sell sheet information on their site. That's possible. It's possible because they don't say anything about that on the Chivas Brothers website that I'm showing you right here. It isn't anything about all these complex things. It just says, and if it had 25 to 30 whiskeys in it, why wouldn't they talk about it? You know they would. It is made using some of the best malts in the Speyside region. Now, how about that? They're using some of the best malts, barley malt whiskeys, single malts. And he's selling it for only $16.99. Seems hard to believe. Well, you know, Chivas Brothers produces a lot of single malt whiskeys, so they use those in their blends. Because look at what they're showing. They sell another product. Now, they make blended Scotch, most of which are cheap. They make Passport, which I've seen at Dorgnax, never bought it. They make something called Something Special, which is making me think it ain't really that special. Glen Campbell. Oh, not Glen Campbell. I'm thinking of the Wichita Lime. Clan Campbell. Sorry, Clan Campbell. They make Scapa. They have the Secret Speyside collection. Aberlour. The Glenlivet. So you see, Chivas Brothers does both. They do the blended and the single malt. But the single malts they're making, they use in the blends. And what you say, well, what do they blend it with? They blend it with grain alcohol, grain whiskey, what they call that in Scotland, grain spirits, made out of wheat or corn. Actually, in the United States, it doesn't matter what it's made out of. If you read the regulations for grain spirits, it could be any grain, because the whole objective is that it's odorless, colorless, tasteless. Odorless, colorless, tasteless. It's a base for the flavor, and the flavor is coming from the single malts. It's like that Mike's Hard and Mike's Harder beer, so-called. They're using grain products to make a base. The flavor is coming from the natural hard, the natural lemons, which they say they use actual lemons. That's what Mike's claims. And black cherry, natural flavoring, and all of that. That's where your flavor is coming from. The beers are not supposed to have any flavor. It's supposed to be neutral. That's why they call it grain neutral spirits. And the grain whiskey and Scotch is supposed to be neutral. Now these blend masters claim they can taste different. They say, "Oh yeah, I can tell different grain whiskeys one from the other." Well, yeah, because that's what they do all day long. You see, that's their job, to taste whiskey all day long. Sound like a fun job. It might get pretty monotonous after a while, though. You know what I'm saying? Like after a while, you may not be able to stand it. But they claim that they can pick up the very elusive characters of different grain whiskeys, and they probably can. I don't think they're lying. We can't. That's not our job. Interesting. It seems like a lot deeper flavor, and there's not that grain whiskey burn bite. I mean to say, there is some smoke. So I get the feeling, like the Beatles, I get a feeling down inside. Oh yeah, that there's some Isla in the Dewar's 12-year also. Yes. Is it a lot of it? If it was 5%, I'd be shocked. But it could be, but I doubt it. But it's there. There's some peatiness, but it's just a little bit, because everybody had a good year and everybody let their hair down. Let's go on. Let's pull our socks up. And then we'll have a breakdown. Oh, yeah. I got a feeling that someone missed the train. Look, hey. Was it Cynthia? Hey. This is kind of dull. Like the one I'm tasting in my left hand is kind of bland, kind of plain Jane. Not terrible. Not bad. But just not too elaborate. Now, I think this one is the Dewar's 12. I'm not going to sit here and talk about how elaborate it is. It's not that fantastic. It's not the exploding plastic inevitable. You understand? But it's not Monterey Pop 1967. But it has some good things. Some good things. It's got the honey. It's got a little, like I said, an admixture of smoke and peat, but it's so minimal. And it's got a depth of flavor that the other one lacks. The other one is just like a flat flavor. It has flavor, but it's just like goes across. This one goes in, it goes vertical, it goes down. There's a depth of flavor. Doesn't gin and vodka start out neutral, and then flavorings are added for taste? I don't think vodka, well, they do have flavored vodka, of course, that's very popular, but vodka is not supposed to be flavored, straight vodka. Gin, they age it over, and they let it rest on juniper berries, which give it that unusual flavor. That's right, because if you look at most gin bottles, it'll say 100% grain neutral spirits. And then they'll use other botanicals. See, so that's what makes gin so exotic. They're using this and that, herbs and spices. It's sort of like a Jägermeister type of situation, but not as medicinal. My daughter's all into the gin. Not the cotton gin. That's Eli Whitney. That's another thing. But we're talking about the Geneva, the drink. Does one have a definitive leg up on the other? Says Caleb Jeep and Foodie. Yes. We're about to cut to the chase right now. That's okay. And for $16.99, I'm all in. Would I like to try the 12-year 100 Pipers? Would it be a more adequate taste challenge? 12-year 100 Pipers from Chivas Brothers versus 12-year Dewars. It would be a lot more competitive challenge, yes, and a more appropriate challenge. But I cannot find the 12-year. I don't even think it's sold in the United States. I think it's only sold in India, maybe Scotland and England. So it would do me no good. So we're going to give the win to the Dewar's 12-year, but it is going to cost you $32 more. Now, what I paid the $32 to get it? Talking about $32 more. It's $48.99. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I did only pay $14.99 for it. Now you say that's outlandish. That's you're lying. You're lying. I'm not lying. I did pay $14.99 for Dewar's 12-year. It's an incredible deal. I never expected to see such a fantastic deal. But they had it at Mathern's in the buggy, the discount basket, buggy, whatever you call those things, shopping cart, for $14.99. And I said, it's impossible that I would pass this up. This huge thing. I just kept looking like, it's got to be a mistake, you know, like, I mean, the cost, it would cost a store $30 to get it. So I don't know what, hey, it ain't really my deal. It's not my responsibility to go ask, you know, hey, well, why are you selling it so cheap? I just brought it to the counter and they rang it up and gave him the money and I was gone. It was $16.44 after tax and I was out of there in a flash. I made the flash look slow. I was so fast. I made fast people look slow. The winner, Dewar's 12-year. But you do have to take the $32 difference into account. That's your money, so I'm going to let you decide. But I'm still saying it's a much better product, and I'm unanimous in that. So Dewar's 12 for the win. But now we got to check the label. Boy, if I'm wrong, I'll be so mortified. It is the Dewar's 12. Whew. I wasn't really scared because I was very confident that I had it correct. Now, later today, because tomorrow is not going to be a good day to do a taste challenge. I'm going to tell you right now. But we're going to do Joker's Wild Wednesday tomorrow night at 7:20 to 7:30, depending when I can get started. Hopefully closer to 7:20. It's only a 10-minute thing. But 7:20 Eastern Time, 7:30 Eastern Time, Joker's Wild Wednesday tomorrow night. Joker's Wild Wednesday. Any beer, wine, liquor, soft drink, water, milk, kombucha, whatever people want to bring, I don't care. That's why it's called Joker's Wild Wednesday. And that'll be fun, I hope. Now, but later today, to make up for tomorrow, I'm going to do Chivas 12-year. Chivas Regal 12-year. Been on the market since 1938. It's aged 12 years. 80 proof. I think it's going to lose because it's very dull to me. Chivas 12 is dull. Does it taste bad? No. Is it exciting? No, dull is not exciting. I mean, nothing dull is exciting. I don't get that product. I mean, when I first tried it, I thought, why is this so bland? I gave it a 9 out of 10 because it is excellent in the sense that it's well crafted and all. You know, there's no off flavors, no off aroma, there's no badness to it. But it's just bland. I wouldn't pay $35 for that again. I did pay $35, but I wouldn't do it again. So if you want to watch a rather boring taste challenge later today, keep an eye out for Dewar's 12-year versus Chivas Regal 12. I would say Dewar's is going to beat its tail. You get ready, Chivas Regal, because you're about to get beat so bad. All right. And that really ain't my problem because I don't work for Chivas Brothers and I don't work for Dewar's. Thanks for watching this video production. Y'all take care. You hear?